Hello. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Give me 1 second while I do a quick announcement on stream. On the Discord. Then we'll get going. I think that's the right link. Okay. Is that the right link? There we go. Okay. What are we doing today? I just typed it out in the in the Discord message and I forgot in an instant. We are going to be doing some refinements to the skins, the last 2 skins that we did. I think they're looking pretty good. It's just I want to make sure that there's any like adjustments that I need to do. I'm gonna make them now, and then if we have time, I'm gonna start drawing up some concept art for the Purussaurus growth. We'll do that in Photoshop. Maybe a little bit of ZBrush. And then, yeah, we'll see how far we get. If I don't get to that stuff this stream, we will definitely be turning our attention there next stream. But, yeah, I don't know how long this will take to adjust the skin details here. Hey Tezzy, how's it going? Corey, how's it going? Also, apologies for today because I'm not feeling the absolute best, you know. So I may be a little bit like out of it. Maybe it's just that I need to wake up a little bit more. I got my coffee here, so maybe that'll help. Also, my wife just had to take our little doggy to the vet. I'm not sure what's going on with him. So I might be checking my phone during stream a little bit just to see, because she's gonna send me some updates. But we'll see how it goes. I hope he's okay. But I hope everyone has had a good week. How's your week been? Mine, I think my week can be summed up as chaotic. I don't know if it was actually chaotic or if just like mentally I felt like it was chaotic, but it kind of went by in a blur. and it seemed like I was like going all over the place at once. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I achieved everything I wanted to achieve during the week. This is too straight. So really what I'm going to be doing today is like just taking a look at these major markings here, like the big stripes, and making sure that they feel more organic and they have nice variation to them. I'm not like reinventing the wheel or anything with the skin. It's just I want to make sure that all these stripes feel like they are nice and organic. These ones felt a little too straight. Like some of these feel like they're too mechanical. So I'm just going to go back in here and break stuff up. Coffee will save me. I hope so. Corey, I had a pretty good week. Finally moved my PS5 back up to my bedroom after a living room for about a month. Oh, is it like is it tough to game in the living room? I'm assuming maybe you live with your family, or maybe it's just like better to game. You have your PCs, you have your gaming setup better in your room or something. I haven't played my PS5 in like ages. I feel kind of bad because it costs a lot of money, that thing, and I haven't really played anything on it. I played Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth on it, but that's like the only 2 games. We mostly use it as like just like a way to like access like YouTube and all the streaming services and stuff. It's kind of like a glorified like VCR at this point. I was thinking about picking up, I think there's what was it called? Astrobot. It's a little platformer game that I thought looked fun. Might check that out. I think coming up, so the next month is going to be kind of crazy. And then after October, right, you get into all of the madness that is like the holidays and stuff like that. For Christmas break though, I think I want to just want to do nothing and just play all the games that I that I haven't been playing during the year. Because I get like maybe like a week or so off for Christmas and New Year's. Week and a half. I feel like all of those days are just going to be endless gaming. I hope that's what it is. Right, Corey. I gotcha. I'm glad you're able to move that back in there. I hope makes your gaming easier. Lucas, so how will this game work? Is it going to be a survival game like the Isle? Yes, I think you would define it as a survival game. Of course it has its differences. But I think at its core you would be able to call it a survival game. Capucine. Hi, how's it going? Sorry if I'm messing up your name. My day's going okay so far, Lucas. Thanks. Thanks, Flo. Lucas, how will the map and environment work? Open world map. I think if you wanted to check out some of the streams where the Airsick Lowlander, he's been working on the map design. You'll see how big the map is and kind of how it's laid out. I think in the last devlog, whatever they're called, Islander mentioned that the map was redone, like resized, to be a little bit more manageable, which I think is a good idea because I think there are games out there where they make the map like gigantic and it just feels like an empty void of stuff. Like, sure, they have like trees and things, like there's stuff in the environment, yeah, but there's nothing really to do, and it's basically, you know, an empty space, really, kind of lifeless. It's also hard to find people too, because you're talking about a server, right, with maybe like 100 people on it. Hopefully we can have more people, but all of those people are just distributed around this gigantic map, right? You have 100 people in this map. The likelihood of you running into somebody like frequently to like interact with, whatever that interaction is going to be pretty low. So you end up having these like long spells of just like kind of mindlessly walking around, not really doing anything interesting. And that to me is kind of a big game killer. If I'm in a game and I'm spending time in there, you know, I want to be doing something interesting. I don't want to just walk around looking for people and then, you know, get murdered immediately or something, you know. or you try to like hunt somebody and then you actually like are able to get an attack or something, and then you get yelled at for being a predator, behaving like a predator in a dinosaur game, you know. Hey Void, good to see you. Good to see you. Suzuki, curious if humans can grief the dinosaurs with their base building. Can humans block important paths or water access? You know, Suzuki, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm not like in on the game design aspects of the game. I would imagine that the designers have thought of that and are working to like prevent that kind of thing. Griefing is not a good thing. So I think there would be we would try to eliminate ways that humans can do that to dinosaurs. Dinosaurs can do that to humans. It's a lot of like tic-tac-toe, like, you know, it's kind of a chess game when it comes to balancing this kind of stuff, because you adjust one thing and then another thing gets out of whack, and then you got to figure out a solution to the other thing. It's a long process. So I don't know what the answer to that question is. But I feel like if it becomes a problem, our team will try to find a solution for it. But at this point, you know, we don't really know how people are going to interact, right, with dinosaurs. We don't know how, because it's one thing to like theory craft how people might use a mechanic, or how people might like behave in the game, and then it's another thing to actually have the game out and actually see how people are using the mechanics. So you can try to plan as much as you can, but it's kind of one of those things where we'll get the tech demo and stuff out, right, and then we'll see how everyone plays, and then I'm imagining that the game design team will have a lot of stuff to like tweak and adjust. It'll be an evolution. What skins will Puru have? One inspired by Spectacled Cayman would be cool. So for right now, the Puru just has 3 skins. The ones that I've been working on stream. This green, dark greenish one. This would be, I think it's called this would be the jungle skin. And then I have like a reddish one for, I imagine it's the redwoods. And then there's one for the snow biome. So those 3 are the primary skins for right now. Islander has a pure advantage compared to the other lead developers of other survival dino games. He learns from the mistakes of the other dino survival game devs. That can be true. Yeah. I think it's pretty smart to look at not just other dinosaur survival games, but other just games, you know, similar games, but also take inspiration from other resources out there. But you got to do your research, and you got to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So I think that makes sense, you know. Suzuki humans can only build in the human island, and player dinos spawn on Dinosaur Island, and humans that travel to Dino Island cannot build bases there. Only temporary campsites. Crystal Ford. I just want there to be more natural skins instead of unnatural skins. Sure. Yeah, that is the goal. Ernie, how's it going? Good to see you. It's going all right. We're doing some refinements on the skin colors today. How many hours did you already put into the skin? I don't know. How many hours have we put into this skin? Maybe like one. We did it last stream. Last stream, I think maybe halfway through the stream, I started working on this. So it was probably like an hour. I've been working on this. We blocked it in pretty quick at the end of stream. Or the last half of stream, I mean. Last time. And now I'm just making little refinements. It doesn't really show what's going on up at the top of this stuff. So I'm gonna try a little something fun up here. I don't really like how this area just gets devoid of anything. So we'll add just a couple little things in there just to kind of tie the two sections together, but we won't go crazy. Oh, a coastal skin. Corey, that's a good idea. I'm not sure if we've defined coastal as like a biome, but that is a good idea. Sorry, the little monster. She hears somebody outside. My neighbors are building a new fence. And I think they're going to be working out there this weekend. She's so funny. She doesn't sleep. She sleeps in her little doggy bed, but she doesn't sleep on top of it. She sleeps underneath it. Tifa. Stop. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. You guys see her? Here. She's got her ears back. She's alerted to something. Okay. She curls up into a tiniest little ball. She really wants to go outside and scream at them. Yeah, she sleeps underneath it, Tezzy. Like, she likes to burrow under stuff. She also has, she goes between like pillowcases and stuff. Like one time, my wife and I thought, like, we were going crazy around the house trying to figure out where she was. We had no idea where she had gotten to, but she was like asleep in between the pillowcase, like inside the pillowcase. Capuchin. Her name is Tifa. We have our dogs. Our dogs are kind of named after video game characters. I don't know if we intentionally did that, like consciously, but my little dog, his name is Odo. But that's just a little nickname. His whole name is Odo Garen because I named him after one of the Monster Hunter big doggos. Big red mean doggo. Then our other little dog, her name is Pinello. character from Final Fantasy 12. And then we got Tifa. If we ever get another little doggy, I think I would name them after some sort of kaiju. Because I think it would be funny to have like a little chihuahua named after something super gigantic. Harney, this will be skins or patterns so that the player can change colors. I don't know if it's decided already. I missed it. Yes, the plan is to be able to do some customization. To what degree, I am not sure, but we're trying to get some customization going. Corey, a greyhound called River. That's a good name. Yeah, I don't like. We don't. We don't name our dogs like right away. Like we kind of sit with them for a while and we kind of see what their personality is. It can be kind of hard because our dogs are rescues, so they've all been adopted. So Tifa is actually pretty heartbreaking, honestly. But she was abandoned in California during it was like one of the hottest days of the year. She had a little sister and somebody just put her in a box, her and her sister in a box, and just kind of left them outside in like very, very hot weather. So like when we got her, it takes them a while to like come out of their shell and like really show you who they are, you know, because they're so like, it's a traumatizing experience for them, I'm sure. You know, they're dropped off by who knows who, and like who knows how they've been treating them beforehand, right? And then they're dropped off, and then they go into this scary like doctor's office probably, and they get all checked out, and then they have to stay in this like kennel with a bunch of other dogs that are barking and making noise and all this stuff. It must be a really scary time for them. So it takes them a while to get used to their environment and stuff, and then my wife and I just kind of see how they do and what their personality is, and if something fits, we name them after whatever fits, you know. Like Odo is a very feisty little dog. He's super smart. He's very fearless. Yeah, he's a little scrappy little dog. A chihuahua called Ghidorah would be cool. Yeah, that would be funny. Hey Sharky, how's it going? I've been seeing your challenges on YouTube Shorts. The like 30. You're doing like a 30-day challenge for October, right? They look pretty cool. I like them. I like them a lot so far. I hope you're 30-day challenges can be really rough. I learned that after doing my Dinovember stuff. So I hope you're taking care of yourself and you're not stressing too much about it. One thing, so I should have thought about this before I did my 30-day challenge. It seems like such, super common sense at this point, after the fact, but I didn't think about it. Like, I thought when people did 30-day challenges, they like were, they like actually did it on the day, like they were doing it in real time along with the 30-day challenge going out. But I think a lot of people actually like preload their content, like they like do stuff ahead of time during the year for that 30-day challenge, and then once that month comes around, then they release it, so they're not like crammed, which makes sense. I was when I did my Dinovember challenge, I was like scrambling because I was legitimately like I was doing it on the day each day, trying to get a new composition out. By November, I was just totally like exhausted. It was a really hard month. My tail whip scorpion is called Dumpling. If I ever get a tortoise or turtle of my own, I'm naming it Gamera. Yeah, very fitting. Thanks, Void. Capuchin. Capuchin. Sorry, you let me know how I'm supposed to say your name. I have 3 snakes: Peach, Scope, and Solo. Oh, that's cool. Snakes can be really sweet little characters, I think. Oh, I do every sculpt partly every day. Yeah. Yeah, you can. I know you can do it, so it'll be fine. I'm just saying, take care. I think I have to make these just a little bit thicker. And maybe a little bit more. Consistently like thick, I guess. They're a little bit splotchy at the moment. Maybe a little bit too much like wiggliness on the edge. So I don't want to get too far away from, I want to add like interest and stuff, but I don't want to get too far away from what the concept has. I think I'm getting a little overly too much variation. I do like the variation that was there though. I gotta keep that type of patterning in mind. Yeah, that's one really interesting thing that I've discovered about reptiles as pets. I don't know why I thought this, you know, because I've been around animals pretty consistently throughout my life, and every animal I've met has had their own personality, you know. But they've all, to be fair, they've all been mammals, right? Like dogs, cats, horses. I've been around horses a lot. Not a lot, but like more. Sheep, goats, all that stuff. So maybe for some reason it's just like a little bit of a bias that I had for mammals. But I got a chance to meet a lot of reptiles. And they are very sweet. Like they definitely have their personalities, you know. Some can be very shy, some can be very curious. I met a little there was this little bearded dragon, and he was wearing this little vest, and he had little wings on it. And he was just chilling out on top of this box, watching everybody pass by. Very, very calm little guy. He was just looking at everybody. I got a kick out of him. He was really cool. But yeah, I getting up close and personal with those guys, I realized like they have just as much personality as any other animal does. I met this alligator and his like handler or owner or whatever. And I felt really bad for him because I feel like he was like hugging his owner. His owner had this big like bathtub where he was in, and his owner was inside the bathtub with him, and the alligator crawled up onto his owner's chest, and he was just like hugging him. I felt kind of bad because I was like, oh, is he like, I just hoped he was okay, because there were a lot of people around and it was kind of noisy, and I was worried that he was like kind of scared. But he was really calm. Or he didn't, he allowed me to like pet him and stuff. Scene. Okay, thank you. -1. Hello, thank you for the donation. You're really you do a great job. Take my money. One more time. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I think my main concern with this skin was just like the variation in the stripes. I think I've gotten most of it. Some of this over here feels a little undefined. So I'm going to touch this up really quickly. Check my phone really quick. See if there's any updates on the doggo. William, where do you get your ideas from? Well, this is really easy because I'm just following a concept from another artist, so I didn't actually come up with this idea. But normally my ideas would come from just looking at other animals. Sometimes it's not animals. Sometimes it's like other things just around, some cool stuff that I see. Inspiration can really come from anywhere, but it's about like adapting it to the appropriate like setting. Like you could in theory, like you could see like, I don't know, an advertisement or something for some kind of product, and maybe some of the graphic design in it is really cool, or maybe some of the colors in it are really cool, and you're like, oh, well, that can spark an idea for like a skin pattern or something, and then you could just like use that as a basis to start something new. So it can kind of come from anywhere at times, but usually it's going to come from other animals. I have a lot of references in my folder, like either saved out in my computer, or I used to save a lot of stuff on Pinterest. I have like several different places where I've gathered reference that I thought was cool, stuff that inspired me. Sometimes you do have to kind of think out of the box just to try and infuse things with a little bit more uniqueness, because there tends to be like certain things that get referenced a lot by like everyone, not just me, but like other artists. So in those instances, you want to try to like mix things up. Like a good example of that might be like just taking something that's normally not associated with maybe like an animal pattern and using it as an animal pattern. So like, I was watching this guy who worked on Avatar, The Way of Water, and he was talking about the Tulkun skin designs. And he was like kind of talking about the inspirations behind the skin designs, and a lot of it's what you would expect, right? Like Tulkun, it's basically an alien whale, right? So he was talking about lots of inspiration from whales and fish and your normal, what you would expect to inspire a pattern on a whale. But one thing that he kind of revealed is some of the patterns on the Tulkun don't actually come from any like other animal. What he did is he took this like slice of like the inside of a cabbage. You slice a cabbage crossways, right? And you look at the inside, the like swirling patterns. He took that and he was using that as part of the swirling sort of stripy patterns on the Tulkun. So stuff like that, like thinking out of the box, using something that's not, you wouldn't necessarily think could be used as a pattern, and trying to incorporate that into a pattern design can be successful as well. Like one of our artists who was working on, I think it was a Tropio skin, was using wood grain as an inspiration for patterns on the beak, which is a cool idea. Stuff like that. A toadstool mushroom. I mean, yeah, that exactly. Like that's the kind of thing you want to think about. So let's see. Toadstool. Yeah. This sort of thing could definitely be adapted to a skin color. Skin pattern, I mean. This thing, right? Because you could, it's basically spots, right? And even if you didn't want to go, so we have the bright red, we have the yellow and tan. You could definitely take this and adapt it to some kind of interesting amphibian skin really easy. That's a good example. Let me see if I can break this up just a little bit with some, I can try a procedural. Something to chop up the bottom portions of some of these patterns just a tiny bit. Try this. Set it to multiply. Pilot. Maybe that's not enough. What about this? It's too much. If I can't find anything that'll work, I'll probably just have to paint it in myself. I'm trying to see if I can get a little shortcut here. Might not work. What about this? I'll probably have to do it myself. We gotta hand paint this in here. That's fine, that's fine. Let's see, I gotta get a grungy brush. Grungy. I just want something to kind of tear at these shapes down here a little bit. In random ways. Seems like this brush would work. Let me try one of these other ones. That's too strong. It's just gonna give us just a little bit of a fade out here on the tail stripes is what I want. To erase back in here. Uh-oh. Base color. I don't think these stripes actually, they don't touch in the concept. So I don't think I should have them go all the way around. Do something like this. Maybe some of these ones, like one of the last few might kind of touch. I mean, the first few, depending on how you look at it. Right here. Oh, we gotta deal with the bottom of the feet. I gotta get the claw color back in here too. I wonder where that went. Claws, mouth claws. Capucine. Do you plan on using curvature maps to have scales stand out? They are used in the... I do have a curvature map on here. You can see it right here. It's not very strong. But I can't bake out... I can't export the texture with the curvature maps baked in. We use them in a different way in the engine. That's like kind of taken care of on that end. So the answer is yes, but not... I don't really need to worry about it in Substance Painter. I think if I did export the curvature maps like baked in, I would actually like mess stuff up. So I have to not do that. I like having it on in here because it allows me to see like where I'm going. But they will be added in the game, in-game, to give a little bit more depth to the scales and stuff. Eric, demo. Will the game have AI, prey, or dinos, or is the map small enough to not have those? I think we've shown the AI dinos, at least some of them already. The Dryosaurus are AI. It's pretty cool to watch them move around too. The the grouping and flocking behavior that they have is pretty fun. I think trying to get every single dinosaur on the island to be an actual player would be really difficult. You'd have to have the volume of players you'd have to accommodate that would be kind of ridiculous, I think. And I think if you left it up to people, right? Like, I think the majority of people would just play like the top dinos. Big, mean. And then like all the little guys would probably get ignored for the most part. You might have some people who want to play those, but I think they would be probably the minority. Capricine. Yeah, normally I would use the cavity maps a lot to get dirt and dust and grime and stuff all in there. But lately, for the game, I have not, because we kind of want like a plain, no like dirt or dust baked in kind of thing. But like for other stuff that I've done, I use that a lot. But it's not stuff that I've done for the game. It's other stuff like this. You can see like all this is like cavity map stuff. The dirt and the grime and like all the little scratches, and some of it's sculpted in, especially the bigger parts, but some of it is procedurally added. So all this stuff in here. You can see me highlighting the little cracks and stuff inside between the scales and things. So that's what I like to use them for, but I don't think it's necessarily applicable for the game. Okay, so that is looking nicer to me. I need is this the claw color? That's the mouth spots. That is mouth spots. That should mouth spots. This is mouth stuff. What is this? That is all mouth stuff. I don't know why I said mouth claws. This is just mouth. Mouth. I need a new material for the claws then. Probably something dark. Dark. Black mask. Fill. Where? There we go. Pretty easy, pretty easy. Jojo, are these scientifically accurate models? I would say they lean more towards scientifically accurate than not. There are little things that we've exaggerated here and there. Like these are maybe a little bit more stylized than you might normally see on a very realistic croc or something. These shapes are kind of pointed and stuff, but they're not too far out of the realm, you know. I wanted to, the thing that I would like to do with the dinos in the game is like slightly push them to be a little bit more interesting in certain areas, but the majority of things are still very grounded. Like, I didn't modify the skull shape at all from what we already have in the fossil record, and a lot of the stylization just kind of went into the shape of the keratin that's growing off of the osteoderms and stuff like that, which is, I mean, that stuff is technically like soft tissue stuff that we don't get preserved. Not, at least not very often. So I feel like there's a little wiggle room to like play around with how it's reconstructed, but we're not gonna go crazy with it. Like do things that are super wildly speculative, or like in that sort of making fantasy animals that are dinosaurs sort of thing, you know. This is the claw. These are claws. I should probably add some more. What do I want to add? Probably like a slightly lighter color. Slightly lighter. Lighter gray. And then we will add a mask. Let's add a mask to this whole thing. So there we go. And this we will, maybe we'll try the curvature map. I don't know if I have that as an anchor point. I should. There we go. So it's going to appear on the high spots, but I want to adjust the levels a little bit. And then we'll break it up with another fill, but I want some sort of texture. Corey, have another idea. Either Triceratops or Chasmosaurus with a frill pattern inspired by a giant sunflower. Giant sunflower. You mean like a kind of like a radial sort of yellow pattern of some kind? Okay, I'm liking this. One thing that I don't like is where is it? I do not like this like this is the mouth mask. I don't like this little bit of green that's popping up in the mouth here. Like on that corner. So I should probably get rid of that. In the concept, it actually doesn't even have any information about what this color should be. It actually just has it be brown, like this dark brown here. But I feel like it's too green, so I'm going to take that away. Just kind of play with this area just a little bit. This part is not helping me. Okay. Will ceratopsians have sparring? I don't know. I don't know if that's something that they've thought about. You mean like can they fight each other? I'm sure they probably could. If you're talking about like a specific like type of fighting that's only unique to ceratopsians. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna that seems fine to me, this one. Let me check the RGBP. Reload. What is this? Why is there like a little touch of red there? Oh. Okay. Is this working? So I have cyan. Sorry guys, my brain is like, I'm just trying to map out some stuff in my head right now as to how this is behaving. Because this is really important for our color customization stuff. So I have some issues with color, I guess, contamination, I'll call it that. Colors that bleed into each other that should not bleed into each other. There's some parts of them that I need to clean up here, but I feel like that's something that I don't want to trouble people with on stream. I don't know. If you guys are interested in seeing me do all, like, everything on stream, let me know. But this is kind of like, this stuff is like kind of under the hood stuff that I don't know if people are interested in watching me fiddle around with. Let's see. What does the RGBP help you do? It's the way that we assign colors in the engine, and it's how we determine what colors are changeable and which, like, how we can customize things. But they have to be ordered in a certain way, so like certain colors can't touch, because if they do touch, they start mixing. And they cause issues in how the game displays the skin. So I have to be very careful on how everything is distributed. Isn't the red one for the female base color and the pink is male display? That's how it's laid out here in this specific one. But they're not always that... They're not always assigned that way. I'm trying to be, it just depends on like the strategy, right? Like, I'm trying to be, I'm trying to move around the colors so that way they don't blend incorrectly, and whatever space they end up occupying is kind of whatever space they end up occupying. I've tried in the past to keep them very consistent as far as like, this color is always the male color, this color is always the belly color, this color is always, you know, such and such color. But it, just because of the nature of like how crazy some of these skins can get, it doesn't always work that way. I wish it would. I really wish it would, because it would make my life simpler. It would make like Furious's life simpler. Several people's lives would be simpler. But it doesn't, it just doesn't always work that way. It's the skins are very organic and they're meant to look very natural, and because of that, there's just a lot of let me make sure I save this before I open something else. Because of that, there's just a lot of complicated relationships for the colors and patterns that we have to deal with. I want to open this one and double check that this one's looking okay. See what I need to do to this one. Okay, how is this looking? Let's see. This one. This one could use a little bit of adjustment. Where are these spots? How long does it take on average? So, Lalisa, how long does it take on average to complete one skin variation? It depends on, like, if I'm doing the concept and also doing the skin, it can take maybe like anywhere from 4 to, I'd say maybe like a couple hours for the concept, 3 to 4 hours to like get it all refined in Substance Painter, maybe. As a ballpark estimate. If I'm not doing the concept, then I just have to do the skin execution. Then it can be faster. Let's take this warp off. KZ, which one of the 3 Puru skins you have done is your favorite? I think this one is probably my favorite. This one here. I like how dark it is. Like, I like seeing the Puru in very dark tones, like the dark brown, dark gray. This dark. It's almost like a purplish tone. I see. It's a cooler brown, dark color. I think he looks really good in those colors. And then I like the way that this is, like the distribution of color here. How you're like seeing this this orangey red color through these windows of the black. I think it looks very cool. So this one is my favorite so far. I also like the one that Void did. The one that was on our thumbnail pictures for a while, the like brown. I wish I had it pulled up. But yeah, it was like a brown skin, or like a darker skin as well. That one's really cool. I'm trying to get so this area here along the sides has like a very specific shape to the windows. I'm calling them windows. That you can see the red through. So I'm trying to get that dialed in here. They're kind of squarish in this area. They're not like spots. Tazy, will you do more skins to Peru later when all dinos are done? I'd imagine so. I haven't talked with anybody about it, but I'd imagine that there would be more skins added later, right? If I do them, that'd be cool. I would love that. But then again, there's also we have a lot of skins that have already been concepted, and I think some of those would still actually work. So we are starting to get quite the backlog of like usable skin ideas in our concept designs that we could pull from, or we could just make totally new ones, you know. I guess it would depend on what everyone wants to do. But I'm totally up for making some additional Purussaurus skins in the future. That would be fun. Hey, Sharky, thank you. Yeah, sometimes you just can't beat it, right? Like, I've tried to do like fancy, like procedural applications of skin patterns and stuff. And a lot of the times they just, as much variation as you try to put into it, sometimes they just still don't feel right. Doing it by hand, I feel like still gets the best results because there's so many like little nuances of changes that you can adapt to on the fly. And then just very natural, like happy accidents that happen in the application of everything. Yeah, but yeah, you know, it requires a lot of patience, extra time. Sometimes it's not permissible or like, you know, it's not realistic to be able to do every little scale or every little spot. But I think it would ultimately look better. There's this little spot of blue there for some reason. I don't know why. I need to get rid of that. I don't know where that's coming from. Where is that blue color from? It's not there. It's from the mouth. This. I don't know what that is. Is it part of the tone? I don't know what that is. Huh. Okay. I'll turn that off. I don't know what I was thinking adding that blue. Maybe the only thing I can think of is that it was part of the color variation inside the mouth that I was adding a while ago. Daisy, the same blue spot on the belly was in the other one too. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that and remove it. Thanks for letting me know. Was that driving you crazy? Were you like, I see a blue spot, but why doesn't he notice it? I'm sorry about that. Mamad June, how many dinos completed until now? Eocarcharia, Oranosaurus, Puru is near completion, and then I mean technically the Dryosaurus too, right? So I guess 4-ish. No, if you see something weird, Tazy, go ahead and let me know. Because it's good to have multiple eyes on stuff. I'm not... I don't imagine you would be rude about it, you know? But I have a pretty thick skin. If there's something weird, you can let me know. I can take it. constructive criticism is always nice, or just being, you know, just being helpful. Because like the if you stare at stuff long enough, like you're gonna kind of get used to. You get kind of used to the way it looks, and you sometimes you overlook things. It's happened a lot. I think it happens to every artist. And that's why it's good to have other people to like look at stuff for you. And then they could tell you, okay, well this, you know, you missed this spot here, like this spot is looking a little messed up or whatever it may be. But that's why it's good not to work in a vacuum when you're an artist. Having collaborators or like trusted people that you can show your work to and they can critique is always very nice. Oh, we have the horseshoe crab too. Yeah, I forgot. I actually don't know if I've seen the horseshoe crab model. That'd be cool to take a look at. I like horseshoe crabs. Yeah, this is one. So one thing I was thinking about is the contrast. So this feels like it could actually be darker here, because it's very subtle. You can see it, but I think it would benefit from just a little bit of nudging, just a little bit of darkening. So you can actually start to see the definition in the pattern there. It's still very, very subtle. I don't know if you would even notice that if you were in game. But based on the base color right here, I would just have to trust that that's the that it's actually gonna come across that way, you know. We can maybe lighten this a tad, just a little bit. Actually, I don't trust my pen. I should type it in 0.227 Or do we... Maybe 0.25? Maybe. Let me see how that looks. If you don't look at it with the roughness on... Still seems very dark. But we'll try and trust in the base color. See the physis? Is that what you're thinking of, Dutch? Okay. I think this area here needs just a little bit more. Where is the actual... This is it. Okay. I might actually use one of my brushes in here. I'm going to make a new layer, add paint. I need one of these spotty little brushes here. I want to bring in a little bit of this brown color back into the feet, because that's how the concept actually shows it. This looks fine the way it was. So that's only the back feet that seem to get this. Okay. All right. So I added those spots in, but then like anything that I don't feel like is too much, I'm gonna remove here. I'm gonna it's kind of hard to describe, but like I see in my mind, I see these the spots that are like they're kind of connecting together and making these interesting patterns, and I want to sort of reveal those. Like I can kind of see where they're starting to I don't know what the word would be, manifest, I suppose. So I'm trying to like reveal those little areas that are starting to happen and make it feel more like sort of like a webbing effect, not just like a bunch of random spots that are happening. It's kind of like stringing them together. Okay. Something like that. Like, see how it's kind of just random right there? And this is kind of stringing some of those shapes together. Then if you add the warp to it, it gets even more interesting, I think. Something like that. Okay. Stegosaurus plates inspired by the Himalayan blue poppy. Himalayan blue poppy. Oh, nice. That is a nice blue. If you don't let CeeLo clean your teeth after battle, your bite force will go down. Dental hygiene is important. That's a cool idea. Dutch, I have seen you work on this skin earlier. Is there a problem with it? No, it's not a problem with it. It's just, so you saw me work on it before. I would consider that like kind of like a block-in. It's like getting the idea in there, but not necessarily like refining it. Whereas what I'm doing, I feel like I got it close in the first pass, right? But what I'm doing now is just like being very, very specific about all the different patterns. So that's why I'm coming back in and doing just like a secondary pass of detail, basically, just to clean it up, make it look nicer, more intentional. Do you ever sneak in smiley pattern or Easter egg in creatures' skins with such complex pattern? No, I don't. It actually doesn't really cross my mind. I know people who have done stuff like that to their concepts for fun and stuff like that. I'm always very like worried about that kind of thing. Because I don't know. I've worked with clients where they don't really appreciate that sort of humor, you know? They think it's they get very irritated by it. So I just refrain from doing any of it. And like people always see shapes and stuff in the patterns anyway. So whether you intentionally put it in or not, people kind of see. It's kind of like that Rorschach effect, right? Or like when you see like something in the clouds, there's all kinds of weird little shapes that happen in here. But no, I don't really intentionally do that stuff. Okay, so I feel pretty good about this. There might be a few more tweaks here and there. Let me check the RGBP real quick. This one's much more subdued than the other one. It's just black everywhere. I think it might be because I haven't assigned some stuff yet. Because I'm missing the cyan. I mean the magenta. Magenta and yellow. Or no, I think I have yellow in here. I think it's just the magenta. Let me see. Yeah. And there's two black colors here. I don't know why. This might need to be blue. I don't know why I changed it. Okay. Color 6. That might be an issue later, but I can fix it. I think I have an idea of how to fix it. Okay. So we're at the end of stream now, but we did get a lot done. I think this is mostly where it needs to be for export. I just need to mess around with the RGBP stuff. And then we should be okay with the Purussaurus skins. I think next time for sure, so next stream, for sure, we're going to start working on the growth cycles. So we'll do like the baby, the juvenile, subadult, all that stuff. We'll start with concepts first before I start adjusting the mesh. Make sure the concepts look good. But we'll be working on that next time. Wednesday stream still looks like it's good to go. I'll be working on the splash illustration on that stream again. I'm actually going to be working a lot on that today off stream. That's what I'm going to start working on after this. So we'll see how far I get. You'll probably see a big jump in the progress on that on Wednesday. But we'll keep moving. Getting close to the end of the Peru. And I got to check in with Islander, double check that I already, we definitely know what we're moving on to after Peru because it's getting close, like I said. But we'll see. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a good rest of your Saturday. And yeah, I'll see you Wednesday or next Saturday. Okay.